Well, now it's my turn. Get used to it.
It was so bad how they did the character for Cheetah when you could have just, if you didn't want to go with the multiple personalities, the root of her existence is jealousy. But there was no jealousy. There's nothing wrong with Barbara, the way she looked at Diana and said,
it was more like admiration.
She didn't know anything about the powers. Exactly.
Yeah, it was just more like admiration.
I think it was more like confidence. I want to be more of a confident woman. I want to be able to handle myself, you know, with strength, you know, the way.
Be special.
Exactly. And I feel like they twisted it a bit in more of a, I don't know, like how Kumar was mentioning, you know, the girl power thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't see it like that. I saw, yeah, you saw my mama? Yeah. I saw it more as.
Hey! Hey, bro. What's it? Oh, she got the cookies and all. She about to go out. Oh, milk. See, now I'm jealous. Now I'm jealous. That's staying on there, by the way.
Yeah, no, I figured. I don't know. I saw it more as like just giving us a glimpse of like just being envious of how women are envious of each other in some small way. Maybe, you know, because you can still be envious of somebody and still respect them and still have love for them.
True.
And still be envious. And I felt like they showed that glimpse. So I didn't really see it as a woman empowerment. I saw of a bitch you hating. And I don't know. And to be honest with you, I love Kristen Wiig. She is so freaking hilarious. She is so funny, but I can't take her seriously as Cheetah.
Was it like...
I couldn't. I was like, I don't know. I see Cheetah as being, you know, first of all, Barbara had red hair. You know, even before she transformed into Cheetah, she had that auburnish red hair. You know, they made Barbara blonde, which blended well in her Cheetah look. Right. But I feel like, you know, they strayed away from that orangey tanned look that Cheetah had, and because they casted Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, you know, and I don't know, I see her as being just so funny and quirky that to see her in a role as like I'm the villain, it just, I don't know, it didn't work for me. Not that she didn't do a good job, right. But I don't know. I just couldn't see Kristen.
It worked for me. I just wish I could have seen the fight scene that they had. Yeah.
I wish I feel unfortunate for her because I think this would have been really good to see someone that we know in a light that's funny to be able to do something serious. It's kind of like watching like, you know, Eddie Murphy or somebody else who's been in comedy and you watch them cross over and dig deep, like Will Smith, and you watch him cross over to show his range. I think she showed range. Yeah. And it's not about how the movie was scripted or how it was written, but they could have, in my opinion, just off the top of my head, they could have had it where Diana, because she's lived almost forever, how she seems in front of her peers a better person at her job than Barbara is. So that I can see where that envy would come from. And almost like Barbara would say something about the stone or something else, and then Diana unintentionally one-ups her in front of her peers. Now you see that jealousy happen.
Well, she kind of did that when she read the Latin on there. And she was like, this is nothing. And then she read the Latin. She's like, oh, shit, you speak.
But you know, even those dabs back and forth, that was like, oh, you're wearing those heels, which she was wearing cheetah print heels. Wonder Woman was wearing, there was tons of other characters wearing that, except for her character until she got it. But I just looked at it as like, you could have set it up.
Yeah, they didn't tie that in well.
You tried so hard to make her a nobody when you could have just made her regular. Like, her boss who hired her doesn't know who she is, but knows her enough to put her in charge of the situation with the FBI. So it's really disappointing that you have, again, this director's supposed to be working on 2023, the Rogue Squadron movie. Before they come back, they already have an idea for the third one. I'm pretty sure they got to redo some stuff, even though they just said that they're green lighting the third one already because they like the numbers, they like the views are getting. So
Yeah, because nobody knew how shitty it was gonna be.
Well, I mean, yeah, nobody expected it to be this bad.
Yeah.
So, but I got a question for you guys, and I'm gonna start with you. Everything's okay. I want you to answer first. But this is, I like to ask what if, because me as a writer, I see opportunities that I think could have made the movie better, even though it may go totally left from the content that it's originated from. Okay, so what's our bad guy's name that became the Stone?
Maxwell Lord.
Maxwell Lord. Okay, so at the end when he was at Camp David or wherever, he was granting all these wishes online on TV and then decided what he was going to take to heal himself. I thought that he was also going to end up coming across somebody who may have special abilities in the universe that either doesn't want them because people treat them different or doesn't know, whatever. And as he grants their wish, he was like, and I'm going to take your ability. I'm going to take your ability. And then he was going to become a super being, and they have a big ass fucking battle at the end, right? How would you have felt, even though that's not how the character is in the comics? Start with you, everything's okay. How would you have felt if the story had taken that turn and gave you this big ass epic one-on-one at the end that you could see?
Even though that would have made the film a lot better just because of how dragged out it was, that would have been a really good storyline to see. If, for say, I don't know, give me a super villain that pops up in the situation you explained.
It's got to be a DC a villain, or I mean, it could be anybody that just. What about Shazam?
Okay, let's say Shazam pops up.
What if the kid wishes that he was back to normal because he can't handle the power or whatever, and then he's like, and I'll take your abilities, and now he's got Shazam's power. That's a weak ass reference, but that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay, so let's build off that, right? So let's say that does happen. I think it would have been a pretty good idea for Warner Brothers to include another superhero because they're trying to, catch up to Marvel.
They are trying to catch up.
Look at Marvel's formula. What are they doing? They're throwing in a hero or two cameo in every movie. That helps build story, helps give plot. And let's say, yeah, Billy Jensen decides he doesn't want to have his Shazam powers anymore. All right, Maxwell Lord somehow becomes the possessor of that power. That's something to do rather than this whole desert chase.
Give me a better character, Ron. I'm sorry.
It's not even a better character. It's the same thing goes in kind of like a relationship or something. If you compare too much, it sometimes puts you in a bad situation. I think that's exactly what it is. Marvel did what Marvel did. They're getting ready on their second.
But we're not talking about a permanent thing because he would have still renounced his wish once he realized, which is one thing I did appreciate. His love for his son trumped everything, but because he was so tunnel vision, he didn't realize what danger his son was in. But once he realized his son was in danger, he renounced his wish. So whatever ability he gets is not going to be a permanent thing, and put her in.
Or he could have wished a better wish. I mean, he could have been like, my son, I found him. I got a lot of, because you have to think of all the wishes he's taking. At some
everything has to have a negative return on it. It's like the monkey's paw. Or the wish master, if you've seen in 97.
I'm not a mathematician, but he's getting in so many wishes that he's got credit. He's got credit. His body started rejuvenating. He started getting that look, them vitamin looks. He was looking good. He was living good. At that point, it's like, let me find my son. All right, I wish he's Gucci. We're Gucci. The rest of the world can keep doing what it's doing as long as we're good. He could have pulled out that wish, and everything could have. If I do make a situation where I get my son back, I'm not going to jail. But I feel like he had room.
He never made more than one wish. He needed everybody else to wish it. So he was only pulling stuff from people that were making the wish.
Twice.
He said he was feeling generous, but he still never did one himself. He never went twice himself.
Twice. We don't know because that's another thing with the plot. They never specify certain shit. You telling me you in the mood, right? You about to get a chance to be with her, and you grab the stone and you put it behind the bag. How are you finishing the act of sexual conversation?
Some people are very talented. Some people are very talented.
No, man. That just when I kept seeing shit like that, I was like, come on, man. Can we just finish?
Yeah, but even with that, when Diana went to go find the stone from her, she was like, well, I let him have it. So even though he grabbed it off, she was still letting him have it. So he could have just put it down with his jacket and still.
That makes sense. But she didn't even say
lay down that baby arm.
Okay,
But that's what I'm saying. Is like
So-
you're creating a situation.
okay.
Wasn't there a receipt in the box scenes before that he, as if he had ownership to it? Remember
Well,
when
that he
guy grabbed the
was,
business
I
card?
think, trying to purchase it, but because the FBI had round up all those antiques, it never got to him. Because remember, they were a black market
what it could
underground thing, and
that could have been it.
when he found out, like, fudge, the Smithsonian has it. Now I gotta go over there and try to swindle my way to go get the rock
Right.
back.
He had to figure that out. Great job,
Okay,
Iris.
so the Dad Panther doesn't like
You're
that
welcome.
idea. Okay, everything's okay. Thought it was cool. Of course, I gave him a horrible character. Iris, what do you think about that situation?
To be honest with you, I don't like how it played out anyway. I mean, because Maxwell in the end, I know they're trying to do their own universe, but I'm like, if you're not gonna go with the actual comic book storyline, then you need to do something better.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was not better.
Mm-hmm.
What they did was kind of lazy. For me, it was a lazy storyline. We found a rock that grants wishes. Like it wasn't working for me.
Yeah, that's because they
Uh,
wanted to bring Steve back. That was the whole motivation to find a way to do that.
yeah, which I understand, but and even when they did that, I already know she's gonna lose him again, and it's effed up, and that just makes me sad. As soon as she got him, I knew.
It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, I was like, bro, you can't keep him, right? He's dead.
He's a rental.
Yeah, basically.
Because he was in somebody else's body, just took their life.
He's
so
rental D.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, like it didn't work for me, especially how it ended with Cheetah's character. Barbara
That's gonna be
turned
my last
back.
question. She never renounced her wish, but she still turned back.
She just
No,
turned
no,
back to
she
you.
renounced. She renounced. I believe she renounced.
You watched
Yeah,
it
that's
twice.
how she.
Because she did too.
She still should have had.
Does she still have powers? Because when her eyes switched back,
I didn't
still
hear her.
looked like
When did she
had-
renounce though? I didn't see that moment where
She
Barbara
looked like she
renounced.
was glowing.
But
There was a scene where she's glowing, but she could see the I guess the lasso, where everything was turning, see the light, whatever. She basically renounces it and says, "Hey, fine." But then again, because they never in the plot tell you how the wish happens, which is sad because you can go watch Aladdin and it's gonna give you a way better plot system with wishes than this story.
But remember, with the wishes, Ron, she wished on the Rock, and then she wished on Maxwell.
right,
So
who was the Rock?
the Rock took something else, and then
Mm-hmm.
Maxwell took something else. So
But what
I
I'm
think
saying
that's
is
the
she got
exception
two.
to the rule.
So wouldn't you have to renounce your wish twice? Because the Rock had just changed the form of it. It's not physical; it's a human now.
right,
So
she
the deal
just
is
had
still
the
the deal.
abilities.
We don't know what she gave up.
Yeah.
And again, they didn't let the character die.
No,
Yeah.
set up
they
that-
basically
they
just
set
said
up-
Diana just pointed out that she lost her humanity. That was
Yeah.
basically it.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not nice. Or look what you lost. I'm like, well, I'm a bad bitch. Who cares?
Okay,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So then on the second wish, what did she give up?
Which they were
Because if
basically
they-
saying
if
she
they
ain't had
center it-
shit. That's all
If
she
they
had.
center it back, and I
It's
don't know
from
how they
nothing.
if they centered it back to how Cheetah was, Cheetah at some point becomes a god, becomes a hunter, and becomes an entity that is the top one of the. I think she's ranked 6th on the speed as far as characters, how fast she is, and
Yeah.
she can take blows with Wonder Woman and Superman. So if they kept her with the same powers, the same abilities, they could do some stuff later on down the line. I just feel like they tease some stuff, and again with the fact that this writer already has a number 3 on pen and paper. And the rumor is just this morning, I think the news was they made millions off this already, and they're fast tracking. Let's make the next one. As if the reviews don't matter. We can clean it out. We can fix it. I don't think.
I mean, yeah, but that's because that's what Star Wars has been doing. If enough people see it opening weekend, they can make enough say, well, we'll still make another one. We'll just find a way to fix it. And that's what the last 3 Star Wars have been
And
trying
that's
to
what
do.
I think is going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So they can still end up making another one.
Because
I mean,
the acting was on point in some areas.
Hopefully, what I hope they do is that even though she renounces her wish because she knew she lost her, let's say, her humanity, that they try to incorporate her. Like, listen, I don't want to lose my humanity, but I still want that strength and stuff back. Hey, I am like well, I forgot what they called her title in the Smithsonian, what her title was, but I mean, she does research. Yeah, she did some archaeological shit. So like she would probably go back, look back into history and blah blah blah, and maybe they can probably incorporate, you know, some other magical thing that will bring her powers back. Because I know in one storyline, I think, doesn't she get like, she stabs herself or cuts herself with like the god killer knife?
She goes to this cult and she wants to be a hunter. She's praying to the hunter's god. She has to hunt her own brother, kills her brother. Then the head cult leader was like, yo, you got to use a special blade you found, kill yourself. And when she kills herself, she becomes the huntress god. And then
there's still opportunity for her to.
I don't understand why you had to bring Chris Pine back. I get it I think maybe the executives, the demographic in which you're trying to hit. Like, my wife loved the movie. She has no problem with it whatsoever.
Oh, same with my woman.
It was great.
She
but
thought
to
it
me,
was a beautiful story. She was all caught up. It was romantic. Got to sacrifice and lose him twice. Yeah.
Well, me and your lovely women are going to sit down with my comic books, and then we're going to explain to them why the movie was fucked up.
It sucked.
This is why it's shitty.
And I love how Diana was like, the whole world is getting effed up. And people it's chaotic. And she's like, no, I'm not giving you back. I'm not giving you back.
You can't do it. And she's losing her ability, her life, and she's still like, I can't. I'm not giving you back.
Get me, got me doing things. That's what the storyline of this was.
Hey, Steve knows how to work it. Steve knows how to work it. All right, so I got one last question for you guys.
She was using that lasso. I'm telling you, she was using it.
She is assed out behind me. Look at her.
She's dead to the world.
Yeah. Oh, I got a lot of interesting background stuff for our video, boy.
All right, so I got one last question for you guys. You know, because number one, the first Wonder Woman wasn't great, but they just didn't fuck it up, and that's why everybody made a big deal about it. They ranted and raved like it was the best movie ever, but really it was just the most controlled substance out of the DCEU, right? It really wasn't great, right? So this time we were expecting them to do great because they didn't fuck up the first one, and they proved to us that
it happens.
Right, they still
can't.
Not easy. They still can't do this. So my question
Marvel's made some bad movies too.
No, yeah, they have.
Yeah,
you know,
they have.
Thor 2 and 3. Okay, anyway, so so now that you see that basically Wonder Woman was almost like a fluke or a stroke of luck, because they still, since they have been trying to catch up with Marvel, they have thrown out stuff that we've liked a lot about things, but there's a lot wrong with almost everything. We've just been like just tearing it down. There's stuff that's just been disappointing left and right, from Batman versus Superman, you know, to Justice League, the Suicide Squad, and now, you know, everything's just been disappointing. Will this impact you with the lineup that they have for 2021 going forward? Are you still going to give it a shot, or going excited? Now. You still going to go for it?
In Dan Snyder we trust.
Okay.
Take my money now. Now after that, then I'd be like, oh, we don't have any.
You actually confident in Snyder?
Yes, because in my opinion, how it should always been is DC should do their own thing. A lot of people, whether you're a comic book fan or not,
right,
a lot of people can agree that DC normally had characters and storylines, not necessarily always darker, but storylines in which they were thrillers, they were dramas, they were romantic. It was just realistic and you could believe it. So it's crazy that this studio can't take, for whatever reason, all this amazing stuff they have. It's not like they're using it for video games or television shows. The CW lineup and all the other stuff. Look at the situation with Batwoman and what they're doing. They're about to fail again on the second. For some reason, DC cannot move the out of the way for their own reason. They get these glimmers, which
tell you why.
Aquaman, Shazam.
I can tell you why. All three of those entities are not fucking with each other. You know, Marvel realized from their movies failed in the past because they weren't true to content. And studios back in the days would deviate from content because they were like, well, we don't want the same old dorks that like this shit. We want to get the everyday person like this shit, so we're going to try and change it. That was the thinking in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And then Marvel was like, no, If we want success, we need to go as close to content as possible, right?
Yeah.
And that's why they have success. But the WB and DC haven't figured it out yet. So all three entities, like if you look at all the animated DC shit, it is 100% the best fucking shit I've ever seen in my life.
It's
Yes,
fire.
I love
It is like,
them.
if you go back and you watch the animated shows and
All of
this
it,
stuff,
even the new movies that are coming, is good.
Yeah.
look at Harley
But
Quinn.
then
Harley
CW
Quinn
is different.
Max is fire. Iris, if you're not watching, you guys aren't watching.
Which one?
Harley
I
Quinn
watched it.
on
Harley
HBO
Quinn
Max.
is
It is the livest ever. Harley
But that's
Quinn
what I'm
is
saying.
unedited, just
Yeah,
But
no,
the-
I'm,
unfiltered, cursing, blood,
I'm telling
Everything.
you, they'll be like the Kite Man. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything. This shit is wild, man.
But that's the point. They're not.
that's why
They're
I
not
said good night,
communicating.
y'all. I'm going back to my Doom Patrol.
They're not communicating, and that's why the CW shit is so different. The animated shit is so different, and the theater shit is so different because they're not working together. Like Marvel realized, we need to take a step back and bring in the people that made this a success, and we need to get to our core fans and just hope that it's good enough to get new fans. And that's the problem. So I'm actually hesitant to see the next Aquaman or to see the Justice League Dark now that they got Keanu Reeves to commit back to being Constantine. Because I like the Constantine that's from the actual comics and his accent, you know, the Aussie or whatever. And now we got, you know, they got all these great ideas, but I'm worried they're just gonna fuck it all up.
Yep.
You know, so I want everybody's opinion on the future of the DCEU. Started with you, everything's okay. Well, are you still looking forward to like the Dad Princess says, take my money for all the 2021 stuff?
So we just touched upon it, and I was really trying to be the first one to say it, but since we got it out the way, if the DC movies can just literally look at what the animated movies from Warner Brothers are doing, there should be no problem at
None.
all selling tickets.
None.
Every single Flashpoint, Batman, Robin, all of them, every single DC animated movie I've ever watched, the best thing I even tell people this to this day. I said
Better than Marvel.
DC animated beats Marvel animation
The
all
Killing
day.
Joke.
Yeah, hands
Oh,
down.
the Killing Joke. Yeah.
Hands down.
If they can just do that, it's simple. And John Constantine, I would have preferred not Keanu Reeves. I would have preferred the guy from the CW show because he does
Right,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, he does
like
really
him.
good. I like
But see,
him.
that's them not working together. That's the point I'm making. That's them not talking.
He does. I'm not gonna lie. When I do see him, he does fit the vibe. And nothing against
Yes.
Mr. Breathtaking, but he does such a good job of being kind of lost and not really drunk, but just not having his shit in order. As he's dependent on to have his shit on, but he knows what he's doing. Casts his spell. He does what he does, and so it's a dilemma. But I think they do talk. If you go to the the fandom that they had for DC not too long ago, they talked to I don't know if it's Jim Lee or whatever, the head of DC. He said, "Hey, look, we talk to television, we talk to movie, we talk to comics, and we have these entities that's why you have multiple Flashes or multiple Supermans and Loises. Is we talk and we do have a plan of who can use what, and I think for whatever reason they don't have their setups to fall like dominoes, and it's just disappointing that that's why I gave this movie the benefit of the doubt, because Wonder Woman wasn't that amazing. And it was dark, and this one was brighter, and I think they're trying to do the whole, if we get moms to like it, if we get the kids to like it, and the younger girls to like it, then we can sell, we can do marketing, we can do video games, and we can do spin-offs. Screw the people who want a good movie that looks good and wins Oscars. That's not what we're here for. The goal is to make money. So that's what I'm saying. As long as it makes money, as long as it gets streamed by millions, you're going to get a third one. And it might not be out of the comic book. They don't care. They don't care.
What about you, Iris? How you feel about it? Well, wait. First, everything's okay. Did you finish your thought?
For the most part, you know.
My
I'll
bad.
throw in one more thing. Iris. My bad.
No, go ahead.
Just like how they have in the Flashverse or the Arrowverse, whatever you prefer to call it, we got Ezra Miller's Flash crossing over with Barry Allen and Grant Gustin's Flash on TV.
Right.
If they can, they just gotta do better. Iris, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's just hurt by the whole situation.
The movie's got me mad. The movie sucks in my
No,
opinion.
exactly.
It
So,
does.
Iris, how do you feel about what's what's coming based on their track record so far? How do you feel about what's coming from from WB and the DCU?
To be honest, I don't gotta pay for any of that shit, so I don't care. I'll watch it.
Hey, well, if you're not paying,
Yeah, I got my hookup, so I'm like, I could watch it all day, no matter how shitty it is.
I mean,
It's not
that's
coming
true.
out of my
I'm
pocket.
gonna show up too. Because if I would have paid for Wonder Woman, then we'd be having a different conversation right now.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even give y'all a chance to speak. I'd be so fucking mad. I'm just like,
I'll be right there with you. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, because even Chris hit me up and he was like, "Is it worth the money?" And when he hit me with that way out, because I told you at first me and my girl, we liked it, and then I was like, no. Listen, let me give you my password or something, bro. Like, it's not, if you're paying for it, it's gonna be a problem. Because you're not gonna get enough action or anything. But even like you guys said, not paying for it, it left a lot to be desired. It's disappointing. And 2021, when they first announced it was all going to HBO Max and to theaters at the same time, I got excited because I know, because I want everybody to kind of just realize that streaming is where it's at. Just fucking do it. I want to see Black Widow, and Marvel's not sure still if they're gonna drop it on Disney Plus or not. They keep saying yes, and they keep saying no. Because everybody wants that big theater release first, and then that additional money from demand sales later and DVD.
Yeah.
That's what they want. But the world is changing. I need Marvel to get with it so we can start enjoying movies again from home. Because right now, this is supposed to be the launch pad. And it's got me. I'm not even looking forward to whatever's coming next. I'm not gonna lie. That's so disappointed in WB, man.
Something else that I don't think a lot of people are noticing? You know how that, again, the issues with the plot. They gave her all these upgrades on her moves.
Right.
You saw gliding, you saw certain things, you saw the flying, you saw the true blast. You saw all this stuff, and they crammed it in like the last 45 minutes of her unlocking all these abilities, it seems. But if you look at Snyder's Justice League, the timeline would be that she should have these same powers. But she doesn't show any of that.
The Justice League is present day. This is in the 80s, so she should have already mastered all that by the time we got to Justice League.
No, she doesn't do it. Now, they're saying there's more scenes we haven't seen that they'll add. But as of right now, we go with what we have.
Right. And she did.
She's a novelist. But if you look at the 80s.
No, she was flying in Justice League.
It's not that she was flying. They cut around the flying. They got her landing from it could be interpreted as a jump.
Superhero jump like Deadpool talks about.
I don't know if you guys noticed, though. I think what really caught me, like, what the fuck? Okay, so in 1984, you know how they do, like, the pictures that they show you her friends and everything like that when she comes to her apartment. But you see how they show the picture of all of them with Steve and the guys and everything. How did you get that photo if Bruce Wayne gets it for you in present day?
Yeah, he did surprise her with it. She's like, how'd you get this?
Yeah, so it's like, how do you got it in 1984? But because you're Wonder Woman, how would you lose the original?
The movie should just implode and swallow itself up into a void because it's totally fucked up the timeline.
Yeah, you totally fucked up the timeline. How do you got this picture in 1984, pero in the 21st century?
Okay, wait.
It's a gift.
As a writer, I could fix this. Whatever the next movie is could still be before Justice League, and she could lose it.
But you can't do anything with the fact that Justice League unless they call her back in.
Oh, but we still got Flashpoint coming. So Flashpoint can fix anything they want if they write it right.
But they're not. They're not. We've talked about this.
Let's not get our hopes up.
You can take Flashpoint, take it straight out of the comic books, and you can literally change any and every piece you want. You can keep the Batman you wanted. You can tease us with some Michael Keaton and some other stuff. You can switch the Flashes. You can switch the Man of Steel. You can switch the Lexus. You could literally switch any piece and fix the whole universe. But we've already seen it. The WB is gonna f this up. They just do.
You're right. I literally just said that they don't communicate with the writers of the good shit, the animated shit. So yeah, you're right.
It's like, hey guys, we did Flashpoint, and we kept everything the same, and we think it's the best move for us.
What if they do Flashpoint so good that Marvel is in control after Flashpoint?
Aren't they now? So then
I mean, Marvel's
like, I don't know,
DC shit.
billions.
Marvel should be
Taking
making the DC
billions.
movies too. You
They're
know.
taking leftovers and they're giving life to Star Wars. That's how good Marvel and DC and
Well, thanks
Marvel
to
and Disney.
thanks to Farmer being a super fan, he's saving everybody.
Mm.
He's doing good in Marvel. He directed a couple Iron Mans. He wrote some stuff. And the Mandalorian season 2 finale. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch that.
Yeah, he's about to be a boss.
Yo,
Happy is about to be a boss. He's about to run
He's
the
about to
full
make.
division of Star Wars.
Yeah, they're about to give him free reign to do whatever because he is bringing stuff that's accurate and tight and keeping us
He's going
engaged,
in the
you know?
crates. And he's not doing anything. He's not reinventing the wheel. He's like, oh, you already wrote about this.
Yeah.
Well, let's move this over here. Like,
There you go. It's awesome.
Mm.
So, all right. So, typical movie lingo fashion. You guys haven't done in a while, but I need your rating, and then we're gonna close this thing. So, from we're doing an out of 10 rating. I want to start with you, Iris, and I want you to be as real as possible. What is your rating out of 1 to 10? I'll start to say out of 0 to 10, but I don't want to give you that option because I heard to drop that 0 to something.
I'm looking at her eyes. I'm looking at her beautiful eyes, and I'm like, this. I'm looking into her beautiful eyes, and I'm like, this is gonna be hard.
Yeah, Iris, out of a 10 rating, what's your movie lingo rating for Wonder Woman 1984?
I'm giving it a 3.
Oh, Jesus. Lord.
And they got lucky with that because Linda Carter did her cameo at the end as Asteria.
Linda Carter. And that actually, once they leave the island, they can't come back. I meant to bring that up. So Asteria actually has, because the story is that she sacrificed herself for them, but it could have been something else. Asteria could end up, even though it's not part of the story, I could be a villain in the next one because they ousted her.
If they do that, I'm gonna be so pissed.
You know how they show with the armor, and they're like, the armor helped all of man, like held her because she fought all of mankind so that we can get away. And then you watch the cheetah rip that shit apart in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but it would be weird because she saved the woman and her child, and then she's a villain. Like, I think that would be weird.
But I don't see them unless they come across one of those gods that they need to team up on. The fact that the story of her being gone is a lie makes it seem like it's going to be like the nucleus for some kind of
why is she gone?
At least some kind of misrepresentation where there was a lie and she wants to correct it in their beef in the beginning of the movie, but then by the end of the movie they realize they need to reunite and take on a bigger foe. That's how I would write it. But of course, I don't get paid for my great skills. Anyway, but I just thought that was interesting.
Hopefully they don't, because I mean, if you read in the comic books, she doesn't have an in-depth storyline really.
So they can do whatever
they kind of just mention her, and they mention her like as like a golden bird.
Okay.
So but she's affiliated as something good and positive.
Okay. Yeah.
So
at the end.
I just think like they would really piss off a lot of diehard nerds such as myself.
Bring her in to help because
yeah, they better, because if they make her bad, I'm gonna be pissed.
Okay, well, we know that if they make her bad, we'll just let Iris.
If they make her bad, then what I said about having confidence in WB, because you're splitting your demographic, your audience, because regardless if Linda is a bad B, right? She got that WAP. It doesn't matter. Because the situation you created is people are going to leave. She got it. Drip, drip. Drip, drip. You already saw how.
Listen, don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble.
He was like, I know she's older. But we got some products for that. Even if it's artificial.
Linda Carter is my woman, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, she is a bad bitch.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, you can't, that'd be ridiculous. Even if it was the most brilliant story, it's going to put you in a situation like the Joker, where you're going to be like, I like this bad guy. And unless that's your intentions, how do you do that? It's almost like a wrestling event. You can't make the face a heel and vice versa, where it kills your product, where that guy is gone, period. So if you make the old Wonder Woman a villain, right? Let's just say you make it like Fast and Furious 12, right? It doesn't matter. Even if you spin her back to the good side, the next movie, you've already hurt your franchise, which is this Wonder Woman. You just shot her in the foot.
You're right.
You just effed it up. The trolls will be out there. Trash. Don't do it.
Okay.
WB, please don't. Please don't do
So,
it.
but Linda Carter is the reason you give it a 3.
Damn.
Iris.
I mean, if Linda Carter wasn't there, I would have gave that bitch a 1.
Ooh, I'm not mad at that.
It was very upsetting. The movie was I was so excited, couldn't wait.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like, I
that's why
can't
we
wait
watched
for
it
this
so
80 Wonder.
excited.
Yeah, I was like, yes. And then I was like, what the fuck is this?
Because, when it dropped 12 noon Eastern, it was 10 a.m. here. And we were super excited as well. So, everything's okay. Let me get your rating and why.
All right. Well, if I'm being honest with you, Eddie, and this is crazy to hear this from my own self, this movie deserves a 0.
Oh!
This movie sucked, bro.
See,
Oh!
I was being nice.
You didn't like anything about it?
I like the fact that her armor is brighter. The red is popping, the blue's popping, the gold's there. But then the brand new armor that's supposed to be like the most sacred wing eagle armor ever, it just gets torn apart like it's nothing.
It did get torn apart, but the armor back then was going against regular humans, men. It wasn't going against an entity.
We're talking about a god, armor that is meant for gods to withhold and to wear. Like that's no. This movie.
Okay. Hey,
you know what? You know who Kamara is? Kamara is that dude, right? And not even the dude. The part in the movie where Diana was about to throw the javelin at the beginning, and she grabbed it like you cheated. That's exactly what he did.
That's him. Take this movie out. Take this movie out. Yeah. You can't win with a lie.
Iris was the tree that knocked her off the horse. She found a way. She's like, all right, I'm making it back on course. Kay, what you think? Oh, that?
No. You can't win with a lie. No, the movie's horrible. Damn.
The actual rating, I'll agree with Iris. I'll give it a 3.
You change your rating to a 3?
No, we can't. I can't. You said 1 to 10, so I was just telling you that it personally deserves 0, but we can't rate it.
Yeah. So I knew that. So you want to go now with a 3?
I'll go with a 3 because it had shiny armor. The armor was shiny.
You know it's the same thing, right?
But I'm gonna just give it a 3 because it was a live action woman superhero film that has shiny.
I mean, I think if you finish the movie without cutting it off, you should give it at least a 2 or 3, regardless. Like
exactly, that's why I get the 3.
If you walk away from something, I can understand you give it a 0. But if you still sat through it, there's gotta be something about it that gives it at least.
That's rough, man.
We had to do a review, so we sucked it up.
I sat through that movie for this review.
Yeah.
It's like we're professionals. Iris is like we're professionals.
Listen, if your girlfriend and your mom gave you grief for ordering that movie, I'm sorry.
It was my girlfriend's mom, and they both hated it as well.
And but they ordered it because you asked them to. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I hope they don't hold that against you. Tell them it was Movie Lingo's fault.
All right. You better make it up to your girlfriend with licking up that WAP. Be like, I'm so sorry.
Look at the Dad Panther's face. Everything's okay. Everything's okay.
It's okay, man. Right.
Yep, that's right. Wipe that mouth just like that.
All right, moving on. The Dad Panther.
Right, that's the beard. You gotta get the beard clean.
Yeah. Give me the rating and why, please, because this is turning into a love lingo. This is turning into love lingo.
It gets different.
That's right.
It gets different.
This is turning into love lingo. Love lingo. Let's stop. Uptight. This is turning into a different conversation. Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll start that show.
No, we're definitely gonna be starting out. This Zoom thing is a possibility. So. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be nagging y'all. We're gonna talk about this after we finish this. There's a bunch of stuff that's about to start up by March, because now that we can do it like this, it's like it's no stopping us. So, Dad Panther, rating and why?
Okay, the plot was the biggest thing that I saw that had issues for whatever the reason, and it's unfortunate because I believe the director got in and did this. And it's unfortunate when you had the talent on paper with some really good performances. And I can't knock the direction and what the script did on what their performance is. So that's why I'm not going to take away from the actors that you had. They played. Maxwell did a great job portraying what he did. When he was sitting there saying, you know, give me this wish and I'll take this and I'm bleeding and all this other, like you believed what he was going through, regardless if the plot had issues.
He was a phenomenal actor. I mean, he's
Their
the
way of
Mandalorian.
saying,
Yeah, I was gonna say he was the Mandalorian.
So,
what happened? What?
he's a
He's
great
the
actor. He's the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, so of course he delivered an actor.
Well-respected actor. Like I said, I think Miss Wig, she had an opportunity to show that she's more than just a funny person, and I'm not going to fault her for that because I honestly believe it was just the direction of what they were doing put her in those situations, so you couldn't see that rage or that dynamic. You got a little bit of it where they kind of went Midnight Cats, the Midnight Edition, when they did the fighting scene. You got some of that emotion, but then it's hard because they didn't even like what they were doing the scenes because the camera was just off. Like they didn't want to be cats. Right. When they could have just went to what a panther's color is. Just go by that and go with the hair, and they tried too hard. So I felt like the plot had issues. Bringing Chris Pines back, I thought it was going to be some like she was going to bump into someone. You know how like generations pass, you're a spitting image of your father or whatever. I thought that's what they were going to do. That she would bump into someone who exactly was Chris Pines, but it wasn't, allowing Chris to play a different character and for her to kind of have those urges, but Chris wasn't in her that kind of way. And so she had to say goodbye, but not on her own terms. I thought that's what they were going to do when I originally heard he was coming back. But I felt like it was lazy how they executed Barbara. It should have been jealousy, and it wasn't jealousy. It wasn't envy. It was respectable. Same way I watch a Tyler Perry movie with my wife, and every male character wants to take their shirt off just to play Yahtzee. I've got to sit there and say, I'm all right. I'm doing all right too. I'm playing Yahtzee too. Shoot. Like, I get it, and there's nothing wrong with that. You made this woman a villain based off of something natural when you have the opportunity to show how women are victims in a situation and the empowerment of it. So the plot had an issue, but the music was on point. I love the shots that they did.
I mean, it was Hans Zimmer, so
the setting in DC. I mean, there's places that like the art space and Air Museum and certain spots where the trash can was seen. Those are places in the game Division. Those are legit.
No, Division 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're accurate.
So I thought it was well done on that. It's just unfortunate for whatever reason this script was what this script was. And so I'm not gonna fault them on because if you go back and watch the first Wonder Woman,
it wasn't that great.
That's not that impressive. It doesn't beat
they just didn't fuck it up.
Still to me. So I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna try to do my best Clark Kent impersonation to save this. I'm gonna give it an 8. 8 out of 10. I can see what you're thinking. And I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. The plot was rough, but again, Marvel has had some bad movies.
I mean, I knew you was gonna be generous, but a fucking 8, man.
I give it an 8. When I watch it again, I thought 7.
So no more drinking during these reviews.
If I go the second time, I would say a 7.
Well, give it a 7. What the? 8,
but I mean, I don't know which one you're taking. I'm just saying, like the first time I watched it, I was like, man.
I want to know what your honest opinion is right now, despite how many times you've seen it. What you really feel it deserves.
I would say it'd be closer to 7. It would be closer to 7.
So we're staying with 7.
I'm gonna go with 7.
I would say it's closer. It's nowhere near as good, and I enjoyed, even though it's not a perfect 10, like I thought originally.
Because in my opinion, between 8 and 10 means you enjoyed it, but it was just a little bit lacking to make it great. So like 8 is like. Everything was good, but it just needed just a little bit more to be perfect.
7 is more realistic. I don't see this
7 is more realistic, right?
For the storyline.
So it was a 1.
Winning for costume and all this. Oh damn! Oh damn, baby! You just.
Dab Panther gave it a fucking 8. No, but it's a 7 now. Okay, all right, here we go. So, I told you I watched this movie. We all caught up. We opened gifts. And me being in the time zone I am, it was 10 a.m. when it dropped on H. So we got up in time, opened gifts. We're all excited. We was like, okay. I cooked breakfast. I made my special eggs and scrambled. And I put all kinds of cheese and shit in there. And I was hooking it up, right? And then see, everything's okay though. And I was cutting it up. Anyway, so we were just in the moment and we watched the movie and we were just happy that we finally get to see it, that it wasn't going to push it back again. And we were all caught up in the love story and everything. We thought it was great. We were, and we be in our love, especially after the gift she bought me for Christmas. But then both. All right. Yes. So at first, when I literally finished the movie, I was like, that wasn't too bad. But I didn't start thinking about it the moment, when we got to that second action scene and how long it had been since we had action. And then I started thinking of what I was actually expecting. And I got over the fact that we were just having me and my girlfriend were just having a great day. Because that was really influencing my opinion. When I actually started thinking about the fucking movie itself, then I started tearing it down. And I started tearing it down. Steve knowing stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. When you said you started tearing it down, I thought you I'm not focused on the movie.
Oh,
I thought it was some
I would have used the phrase.
stuff. So
I would have used the phrase busting it down.
And I started tearing it down.
No. I would have used the phrase busting it down.
I was gonna be like,
busting it down is what I would have said. I'm talking about tearing the movie down, literally. Okay, thank you.
Oh wait, but Jessica, to be like, what the
right?
fuck are you guys talking about?
I gotta go bust it down.
You saw him look over his shoulder.
So anyway, I started realizing that my biggest thing with the sequels is there's no reason. Oh, this man had food brought to him.
Where the fuck did that come from, bro? You didn't even get it. This nigga got a bag. Like,
Wow.
You tripping?
He went to Chipotle.
He went to Chipotle. Just got brought to him.
He got the bowl and the burrito. Oh, that young metabolism.
Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, when I really started thinking about it, I started seeing everything that was wrong with it. And as a sequel, after you've done the origin story, there's no reason to have more story than action in the sequel. If you have an action superhero, comic book hero, the second one should just be an excuse for action with a story. Whether the story is tight or not, it doesn't matter. If you deliver on the action, people will receive the movie better. And so that was my biggest factor, despite the plot holes and despite how I actually was glad that she got to see Steve one last time. And I appreciated her, realized she had to give him up and gain her power back. I understood the sacrifice. Everything's good. I appreciate as a father how Max Lord realized he needed to chill the fuck out so he can save his son. That was actually, for me, that was different for a villain. Because sometimes people just get so focused, like, hey, you need to be stronger. You're weak. You're crying. And I'm a god, so you need to get on my level. And at first I thought that's where Max was headed. But he really loved his son. And I appreciate that. So for me, my overall rating for Wonder Woman 1984 was a 5. I put it right there in the middle because there was a lot I still appreciated about it, despite the fact that it truly disappointed me. Okay, so let's see.
So we got a 4.5.
Oh, you did the math.
She already did it. She already finished it herself.
Yes. So
Yeah,
we don't do 0.5s in movie Lingo. So we're rounding it up.
Okay, the 5. 5 out of 10.
All right. So again, official movie Lingo rating for Wonder Woman 1984 is a 5 out of 10. I want to thank you guys. It's been great being back. Movie Lingo after a while. Looking forward to doing more with you guys. I want to thank the Dad Panther for showing up. Everything's okay for showing up. And of course, the beautiful Iris. We always love to have you back. And I am Eddie Lingo, aka Mr. Lingo, Movie Lingo. And we will see you on the next one.
Bye.